What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first actual video on this channel and not a POV short. Wow, shocker. And this time, not a Knott's Berry Farm video. Today, we're ranking the coasters that I have been on so far at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Now, I've only gone 6 times, but I have by now done all the major coasters. I have not done the kiddie coasters yet, mainly because I don't really care for kiddie coasters, although I do have some kiddie coaster credits. But yeah, this is all the coasters ranked by Six Flags Magic Mountain. Also, sorry for the poor slide entertainment. Once I get actual footage of the rides in the future, hopefully I will be able to give you guys better slide or better rankings so far. But yeah, this is my first ranking video. So I've been on only 15 out of the 19 coasters. I have not done Superman Escape from Krypton yet, so I can't really rank that. But at number 15, we have Gold Rusher. This is an Aero Mine Train, and it is the first coaster in the park. Now, I'm only ranking this low because, it's not really a thrill coaster. Maybe I would rank this higher because I did enjoy this ride better than some other rides. The next ride I'm gonna list, but yeah, some things are bound to change. I'll probably make another list in the future, but so far at 15, I have Gold Rusher. But this ride is decent. At least it's got a little bit of aero jank, and it's also the oldest coaster in the park, so I'm cutting some slack here for criticism. But yeah, maybe I'll rank this high. See, stuff is bound to change. Number 14, we have Viper. This is a Aero Mega Looper, the only one left in the world. There were 2 others. There's one at Six Flags Great America and one at Six Flags Great Adventure. Both of those are closed now, and this is the only coaster left with this model. Now, I'll say this. Viper has got a fantastic layout, but my experiences on it weren't really the best. I mainly don't really like the restraints. Aero restraints suck, especially if you're either short or tall, because if you're short, you're going to get some headbanging. If you're tall, those restraints will hurt your shoulders, especially when you get stapled, because first time I rode it, I was getting some headbanging. Second time I went on it, I got stapled. Third time I went on it, I got stapled again. But the third time I was trying not to get stapled, and in the double loop, my restraint came down a little bit more than it should, and my shoulders started hurting the rest of the ride. But I'll say this: if Viper did get new restraints, like maybe Morgan trains or the Vekoma Vestra restraints, then maybe this ride would be higher up on this list. But so far, I have Viper at number 14 on this list. At number 13, we have Ninja. This is a Aero suspended coaster. It is, I don't even know how many are left yet though, because I kind of forgot, but this is one of the few that are left. These are dying breed of coasters, and there's only a few of these left, and it's kind of sad that this might be going soon because of the new Thrill Glider they're building. But this ride is actually pretty fun. I've gotten 3 rides on Ninja total through my 6 or 5 visits. I forgot how many visits I've had, but Ninja is a pretty good ride, and it'll be sad to see it go, but it's not the best, but I still somewhat enjoy it. Number 12, we have New Revolution. Okay, this is where my opinions start to be a little bit more positive. New Revolution is good. It's tame, but this was also the first modern steel coaster with a vertical loop. It was made by Schwarzkopf, and currently it is a pretty famous coaster. It's been in a couple movies, and I'm glad I got to go on this ride. Apparently, it used to have over-the-shoulder restraints before it got refurbished, but now it has got lap bars, and this ride is good with lap bars. Number 11, we have Scream. This is a ride I kind of have mixed feelings about, but I'm putting this list as the best ride I've had on these coasters. So I have had a couple rides on Scream. Few of them were not bad, but my last ride on Scream was absolutely horrible. Like, it was so unbearably rough. Like, I actually got a headache after getting off of it. And it was weird because I had never really had. I didn't really consider this ride to be rough. I mean, it had a bit of a rattle. I'll say this, but like, it's an older B&M. And the fact that it got that rough, maybe it might have been the trains, who knows? But that was a really weird ride I had on it due to it being that bad. Number 10, we have Riddler's Revenge. This is another B&M. This is a B&M stand-up coaster. I've only had 2 total rides on this, so I don't have the full opinion on it. But, a lot of people don't really like B&M stand-up coasters, although this B&M stand-up coaster isn't actually that hated by enthusiasts. In fact, some people say it's one of the best stand-up coasters. So I haven't done any other stand-up coasters yet, but so far I don't really have a negative opinion on these. Now, of course, they do hurt your crotch, especially if you're a guy, which I am a guy, but it didn't really hurt that part of me. But still, this ride is not really that bad. I'll say that it's got some good positives, and it's not a bad stand-up coaster. Okay, this is something on that actually changed on my list that when I was ranking this. Number 9, we have Goliath. This is a Giovanola hypercoaster, and is, as of recording this, the tallest operating roller coaster in California. This is it has a 255-foot drop. I don't know how tall it is. All I know is it has a 255-foot drop. I know it's a hyper, and this ride, I kind of also have mixed feelings about, mainly because, like, a lot of enthusiasts consider this ride to be pretty mild or pretty tame, which it is actually a pretty tame ride if you're in the back. At first, Camelback does absolutely nothing if you're in, like, the back rows, but if you're, like, in the front row, you get some good floater airtime on that hill, and you also get some good positives at the end of the ride. There's that end helix is pretty good. Overall, I still think Goliath is kind of overhated. Although last ride I did have on it was pretty tame and it didn't really do much. But I'll say this, it does have really, really comfortable restraints, unlike some rides. And I actually quite enjoy this ride. But I don't really have bad opinions on it, but I also somewhat don't really have good opinions. The pacing is not the best, because of the fact that you stop at the mid-course, like a dead stop, but I'm sure that's to make the ride less intense. I could understand why they do that, but and again, I've seen older POVs, and like, it only like slightly slowed the train down, didn't really do it to a halt. But I guess they did that. I don't know why they made it stop completely, but maybe it's for a reason. I don't know. I'm not a fully negative enthusiast, although I am a very biased enthusiast. And you'll see later on in this list. Number 8, and this is highlighted because you cannot see the text. This is Batman the Ride. This is a B&M invert Batman clone, the only one I've done. And this ride is actually a lot of fun. It's intense, it's whippy. I actually like this better than Silver Bullet at my home park, which is, I think some these people would understand, but I know some people I know someone who likes Silver Bullet more than this ride, which I think is weird because Silver Bullet's kind of tame and graceful. I don't know. I tend to like more intense coasters, or more intense like B&Ms. More intense B&Ms. But this ride is pretty fun. It's intense, although it's not as intense as some enthusiasts say it is, but I enjoy this ride. All right, number 7, we have a GCI Woody. We have Apocalypse. This ride, actually, I like it a lot more than I used to. I used to think this ride was just like too rough. And then my second ride, I thought it was okay. And then like my two other rides, I actually quite enjoyed this ride. Maybe it was because it got reach correct and, it's got the good amount of roughness and smoothness. I'd say this, if this ride was running like Ghost Rider, you know, a little too smooth, I think it would be kind of boring. Although I do think Ghost Rider is better than this ride. I still do actually pretty enjoy this ride. Although it can vary depending on like when you go on this, if it's gotten retracked recently or not. Because you know wooden coasters tend to like wear themselves out, but this is a pretty good ride, and I actually would recommend it. It also has a really cool queue. I actually really like the theme of this ride's queue. Number 6, we have West Coast Racers. This is a premier launch coaster, and it is actually a dueling coaster. The second dueling coaster this ride needs to be. Now, I'll say about this ride. Magic Mountain didn't need this ride, but this ride is still pretty good. Now, it's got comfort collars, which honestly I don't really mind. Like, they're annoying to get into, but like once you're in them, like I don't really get any head banging. I don't see why people hate them. But overall, the ride's actually really fun, and the fact that it duels every time is nice. But they could have fixed their other dueling coaster, which we'll mention later. But nope, Magic Mountain decided to make this coaster so they can have more coasters, which is stupid. But this ride is still pretty good, although I do feel like this ride could have been like, you know, could have been at another park. But they have it at Magic Mountain. And number 5, another premier coaster. We have Full Throttle. We're now in the top 5. I'm gonna say this ride is short but great, right? Now, last ride I did have on it was pretty tame, but I've had some pretty decent rides. That loop does give some amazing hang time, and you know, you get some decent airtime on that little top hat too, where that train is in the picture is right here. But other than that, the ride is pretty short. I don't know, maybe they just did that to have more room, but I'd say this is like the only launch coaster Magic Mountain really needs. Oh, I got a burp. Ugh. Other than that, but this ride is still pretty good. For some reason, last time there used to be like audio in the spoilers ahead. But there used to be like music playing in the tunnel before you like went backwards. It was like Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace. But still, this ride is really good. I highly recommend at least trying this ride, although operations on this ride are very slow and annoying. So this ride does tend to get a pretty long wait, so if you do want to get on this ride, I'd say get on it a little earlier in the day. Number 4, we have the RMC single rail coaster Wonder Woman Flight of Courage. This is a clone of Jersey Devil, although it's somewhat of a custom layout. I don't know. I wouldn't really consider this a custom layout. I still consider this kind of a clone. But this ride's good. It's not the best. It's a little graceful, but it's got some fun inversions. Like, I think I like this. I like the stall on this ride. Some of the inversions are fun. And, you know, there's some decent pops of airtime, especially if you're in the back. Although, like, I'm sure, I don't know if the other Raptors are like this, because this is the only Raptor I've been on, but, like, it's kind of got a bit of a rattle to it, especially if you're, like, further in the back. Apparently it's because, like, the RMC Raptor trains aren't really, like, well made, but other than the rattle, like, I don't really mind rattles. But other than the rattle, this ride is great. I actually really enjoy this ride, although I don't think it's the best RMC in the park. Cough, cough. It's still a decent ride. And yeah. All right, we're now on to the top 3. At number 3, we have Tatsu. This is a B&M flying coaster, and as of now, my favorite B&M coaster. Now, this ride is great. This flying coaster is actually hella fun, but I think this ride has probably one of the most demented like elements. What is the second most demented elements or element in the park, and that is that pretzel loop. Holy shit, that pretzel loop is absolutely insane. Like, you get an insane amount of positive G's in that pretzel loop, and it feels like it's trying to rip your face off, especially in the back row. I'd say this ride is probably not really for everyone, especially if you're like, I don't know, not into like intense positive G's, but if you like Positive G's, you would really like this ride. And also, this flying coaster is hella fun. At number 2, we have X2. This is an Aero 4th Dimension coaster, the only one operating. Now, I have mixed opinions on this. This ride's great. I'll say that. I really, really like this ride. I feel like this is one of those rides that were, if you ride it more and more, you tend to like appreciate the ride more. I have gotten 6 rides on X2. And this is a great ride. I've only been on it on 3 of my visits, but I do make the most of it when I do go again. But this ride is just insane. I remember getting off of it wondering what the hell just happened. But I still liked another ride or another coaster on this list that I went on more than this because I'm more of an airtime guy. But this ride is still a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend getting on this ride if you ever do plan a visit to Magic Mountain. Go on the back row on the inside seat. Although, here's the thing about people say about the inside and outside seat. I don't really mind the outside seat. Like, yeah, it's a lot more like rough, but honestly, I actually like in the front row. I've been on this ride in the front row twice, back row twice. But although back row was both rides on the back row were inside seat, on the front row I actually like the outside seat a lot more. For some reason, it just feels more intense. Back row I've only done it inside seat, although I'll have to try it on the outside seat next time I go. But still, this is a great ride. I highly recommend it. Next ride. And of course, number 1, probably my most controversial number 1 picking on this list. Maybe a lot of you will agree with me on this, but maybe some of you won't. We have Twisted Colossus, an RMC dueling coaster with the iBox track. I'm going to say this. Even when this ride doesn't duel, it's still a lot of fun. You got some great airtime. It's got great airtime, inversions. I don't really care about inversions. But when this ride does duel, it's incredible. I love this ride. I love the airtime, the intensity. But when it duels, it's like top tier coaster. Now, I've only been on this ride a couple times when it duels. Although the best duels are like when you're dueling a train full of people. When you're dueling an empty train or a half empty train, it's not as good. But if you're dueling like a full train, which I've only been on this ride once when I dueled a full train or a full train. And it's great when you duel a full train. It sucks that Magic Mountain doesn't run this ride how it should be, but I'm sure there are ways to fix this. Although I don't think they're going to, because Six Flags doesn't really give a fuck about enthusiasts, but I won't complain too much. Like, I've gotten a duel on this ride before. I'm happy about it. Although I do think it should duel more. But still, this ride's great. It's got great airtime, great layout, and you get to go on it like twice, kind of. You get to do both sides, which I think is great. And yeah, that is my ranking of Magic Mountain coasters. Now, this will subject be changed probably in the future, but I'll hopefully be doing more coaster rankings on this channel. But if you like this ranking video, you should subscribe, and I'll see you guys in another video.